Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology grounded in love. A love which calls us to see the holy in each and every being and to take compassionate action in our world. In this space, we gather with open minds, open hearts, and open hands to practice acceptance, forgiveness, and growth. We welcome people of all ages, all nations, all creeds, all genders, all cultures, and all kinds of love. So whether you're here every week, came today for the first time, or stopped by once in a while, we welcome all of who you are and all you are becoming. You are so very welcome here.
I'm Mark Nava, this morning's worship coordinator. I use he, him pronouns. Reverend Parisa, she, her, and I are joined by Mark David Buckles, he, him, Youngju, Young, she, her, and the Arlington Street Choir in leading worship today. We couldn't do this without our tech team, greeters, ushers, and coffee hour hosts. Thank you, friends. Special welcome to James Foligno and his friend Tet Tet. Welcome home. It's nice to see you home for Mother's Day. If you're new to Arlington Street, welcome. We're so glad you're here and would love to stay connected. We hope you will visit our website at arlingtonstreet.org and sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. If you're in the sanctuary, please fill out a pew card and put it in the basket during the offering time to let us know how to be in touch with you. And Zoomers, you can find a link in the chat to a form to fill out to help us stay in touch. On the last pages of the order of service, you'll find information on upcoming Arlington Street events. There's a lot going on, both in person and on Zoom, and we'd love to see you this week. Please join us for a brief special meeting of the corporation on Sunday, June 7th, immediately after worship. We'll be voting for a new co-moderator and filling an open Pru committee position, and we'll have a full update on the interim minister search. If you came this morning with the joy or concern in your heart, you're invited to light a candle at home and share in the chat, or come up and light a silent candle at the table to the right of the Gleason podium at any time during the service. I hope all of you in the in-person congregation will plan to join us in the Honeywell Chapel right through the leather door up front after the service. Those of you on Zoom are invited to stay on for remote fellowship and breakout groups as well. And now Michael is going to turn the camera on the in-person congregation as we wave and smile at each other, as well as at our friends in the Zoom room. And all of you in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. Hello to all our friends near and far. Let's engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart. Whether you've been coming here for years or today is your first time at Arlington Street, welcome home. Please join in saying the Affirmation Covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
Is the flame
Our opening words this morning are the Mother's Day proclamation of Julia Ward Howe from 1870. Originally, it was called An Appeal to Womanhood Throughout the World. Arise then, women of this day. Arise, all women who have hearts, whether your baptism be that of water or of tears. Say firmly, we will not have great questions answered by irrelevant agencies. Our husbands shall not come to us reeking with carnage for caresses and applause. Our sons shall not be taken from us to unlearn all that we have been able to teach them of charity, mercy, and patience. We women of one country will be too tender to those of another country to allow our sons to be trained to injure theirs. From the bosom of the devastated earth, a voice goes up with our own. It says, disarm, disarm. The sword is not the balance of justice. Blood does not wipe out our dishonor, nor violence indicate possession. As men have forsaken the plow and the anvil at the summons of war, let women now leave all that may be left of home for a great and earnest day of council. Let them meet first as women to bewail and commemorate the dead. Let them then solemnly take counsel with each other as to the means whereby the great human family can live in peace, each learning after their own time the sacred impress not of Caesar, but of God. In the name of womanhood and of humanity, I earnestly ask that a general Congress of women without limit of nationality may be appointed and held at some place deemed most convenient and at the earliest period consistent with its objects, to promote the alliance of different nationalities, the amicable settlement of international questions, the great and general interests of peace. In the name of prophetic words from prophetic women, we light our chalice this morning.
So more prophetic words and music from prophetic women. Our opening hymn is We Rise by Batya Levine. Let me teach it to you a little bit if you don't know it yet. But actually, why don't we rise in body, rise in spirit? I think this will feel better from the start. Can we get the key, Hyunju? So we're going to be singing a lot of harmony. You can sing whatever notes you want, but I'll be doing the melody, and it starts like this. We rise. Let's try that together. We rise. And that's always followed by another line, which you've got the words printed in the order of service or in the chat. The first one is humbly hearted. Try that. And humbly hearted. So it goes, we rise. Humbly hearted. Try that with me. We rise, humbly hearted, and then it keeps going, rise, another line. And let me teach you the chorus really quick as well. The chorus goes, in hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. Try that. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves for now. We'll pick it up as we go. Feel free to add some more harmonies, your voices as we sing together in this space. Let's sing We Rise. 2, 3. We rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise.
We have risen. Our reading this morning is a poem called Jerusalem by Naomi Shihab Nye. It begins with a quote from Tommy Olofsson, a Swedish writer. Let's be the same wound if we must bleed. Let's fight side by side, even if the enemy is ourselves. I am yours, you are mine. Naomi Shihab Nye writes, I am not interested in who suffered the most. I'm interested in people getting over it. Once, when my father was a boy, a stone hit him on the head. Hair would never grow there. Our fingers found the tender spot and its riddles. The boy who has fallen stands up. A bucket of pears in his mother's doorway welcomes him home. The pears are not crying. Lately, his friend who threw the stone says he was aiming at a bird, and my father starts growing wings. Each carries a tender spot. Something our lives forgot to give us. A man builds a house and says, I am native now. A woman speaks to a tree in place of her son, and olives come. A child's poem says, I don't like wars. They end up with monuments. He's painting a bird with wings wide enough to cover 2 roofs at once. Why are we so monumentally slow? Soldiers stock a pharmacy, big guns, little pills. If you tilt your head just slightly, it's ridiculous. There's a place in his brain where hate won't grow. I touch its riddles, wind and seeds. Something pokes us as we sleep. It's late, but everything comes next. It's late, but everything comes next. Mother's Day is the biggest day for restaurants every year. It's also the biggest day for florists. But long before that, I want to invite you to come with me to the story of the beginnings of Mother's Day. So come with me to Taylor County, West Virginia, 1858. The relatively new nation is tearing apart at the seams, something we don't know anything about. A woman named Anne Reese Jarvis is pregnant with her 6th child. She has already lost more than one child in infancy, and she's concerned about why so few babies survive in her community. Children are dying at alarming rates of measles, diphtheria, typhoid fever. So she organizes mothers' work clubs so that mothers can keep other mothers from having to say goodbye to their children. They work with local doctors to get care for folks who are suffering from tuberculosis. They lobby to get clean water and safe sewage disposal, raise money for medicine, and to ensure the safety of things like milk. They teach families basic sanitation. The Mothers' Work Clubs are some of the first modern public health organizations in the nation. Then the Civil War breaks out, and the dividing line between North and South runs right through Taylor County. The Baltimore and Ohio Railroad, the B&O, monopoly players, has a major junction in Grafton, West Virginia, making it a strategically important spot for both the Union and the Confederacy as they move their equipment and soldiers. The Mothers' Work Clubs now are at the battlefront, and they immediately and adamantly devote themselves to caring for the wounded on both sides. The mothers insist on crossing enemy lines to nurse the sick and the dying, which the military leaders are not happy with. But the help is needed, and I am guessing the mothers are a formidable force. Soldiers in the area, regardless of their side of the war, know that mothers will feed and clothe them between battles. When the war ends, the people of the county have to find a way to live together. They are Union and Confederate alike. And as you might imagine, that is not easy after losing so many beloveds. Political leaders then turn to Anne Jarvis to help with the calming of social hostilities by bringing together the mothers of those soldiers into what she calls Mothers' Friendship Days. And on the authority of those mothers, the soldiers are asked to give up their resentments and animosity and work together for the healing of the nation. The first Mothers' Friendship Day was held in Puntytown, West Virginia in 1868. Jarvis and her fellow organizers forged ahead in spite of threats of violence. Leery soldiers showed up armed to the teeth. Yet the crowd was peaceful. They joined in singing both Dixie and the Star-Spangled Banner before belting out Auld Lang Syne. Witnesses recall veterans weeping and shaking hands, saying, "God bless you, neighbor. Let us be friends again." While Anne Reese Jarvis was organizing mothers in Virginia, Unitarian activist Julia Ward Howe was writing and attending meetings and causes to support abolition and women's suffrage in Boston. Her renown as a writer made friends reach out to her for the words to a song to support the Union cause, which in 1862 became the banger we know as the Battle Hymn of the Republic. Her fame as a result of penning those lyrics offered her the platform for speaking for the cause of lasting peace after the Civil War, which is why we still have the words of the Mother's Day proclamation you heard earlier. And we know she was a true Unitarian because her rousing words exhort her listeners to get a committee together. Her Her version of Mother's Day was celebrated for some 30 years, centered in Boston on June 2nd every year. But a national Mother's Day itself wasn't established until Anne Reese Jarvis's daughter, confusingly Anna Jarvis, advocated for a day of remembrance of mothers, most especially her own mother, who organized so many other mothers. So a few years after her mother's death, Anna persuaded the minister at her church to initiate a service in honor of mothers. She passed out white carnations to the congregation, her mother's favorite flower, and one whose folds she thought perfectly symbolized the embrace of a loving mother. She had also, the same day, persuaded John Wanamaker to do a day of remembrance for mothers, and he became instrumental in gathering support for her as she spoke to a crowd of 1,500 people in the auditorium of the Wanamaker's department store in downtown Philadelphia. By 1914, President Woodrow Wilson had proclaimed the second Sunday of May to be Mother's Day. And by then, even that early, from 1908 to 1914, the growing consumer culture had successfully redefined women as the primary shoppers in their families. And the First World War, raging across the Atlantic, put a lot of pressure on mothers to express their patriotism by sending their boys to war. Politicians and businessmen eagerly embraced the idea of celebrating the private sacrifices made by individual mothers. The Florist's Review, the industry trade journal of the time, wrote, "This was a holiday that could be exploited." I can only read that as cartoon villain, I'm sorry. And so they did. This was a cause of deep grief for Anna Jarvis, not what she had intended at all, to the point that she ended up spending her family inheritance on dozens of lawsuits to undo the commercialization of the holiday. Her success in making Mother's Day an international phenomenon was born of connecting with those powerful business and government interests that could make it so, and those interests in turn undid its power and its beauty. It's a heartbreaking story. All around the world, throughout human history, there's a place for the unique divinity of the feminine, the one who brings life, the part of humanity that has the power of God or gods or spirit to bring forth new life. The Hindu goddess Kali, the Chinese goddess Kuan Yin, several of the Greek and Roman goddesses all contain not just the power of compassion and creation, but the power to demand what is just, and if necessary, do some destruction in order to make it so. And those divine feminine images are not confined to traditional female representation. Most of them, in fact, slide along a continuum between the traditional male and female, drawing power across the gender spectrum. There is no doubt that there's a deep connection between the power of creation and the power of justice. When we emphasize only one, the creative, nurturing side, the romantic perfection side, we set up a dangerous level of expectation for people who bear or raise children. And we deny the greatest gift of perspective that comes with love that deep, the desire to protect not just our own children, but all children. That's why we in the sanctuary this morning are in solidarity with our friends and neighbors walking in the Mother's Day Walk for Peace in Dorchester. Some are just returned from it. It's an outgrowth of Tina Cherry's compassionate example as a mother who lost her son, Louis D. Brown, to street violence when he was 15. In her own grief, Tina built a connection with her son's killer and began connecting with other families who had lost children to violence. The Louis D. Brown Peace Institute was born to help grieving families who were often blamed implicitly or explicitly for their children's deaths Help with funeral expenses, grief counseling, community connection has been expanded to add peace education, a curriculum involving 7 principles of peace that are taught in youth groups, schools, and clubs to support alternatives to violence. You will not meet a more gentle, gracious, and faith-filled presence than Tina. And I also know that that demeanor of grace is rooted in a very righteous grief and anger that she has thoughtfully, carefully transformed into a force for creative, generative love. People walking today are building community, connecting with streets that many of them would not otherwise have gone into, and raising money to fuel the cause of peace, person to person. How about that for Mother's Day? Hi, sweeties. The essence of motherhood belongs to us all, every gender, whether we are called parents or not, and it includes that creative power born of our inward spirit that's profound and seems magical no matter how many times we see it happen. The passion and the drive that come from it, as well as the protective spirit that rises in us when what is precious to us is threatened. And oh, so much that is precious to us is threatened these days, my friends. So how can we reclaim some of that fierceness, the Julia Ward Howe and the Anne Reese Jarvis? Anne Lamott writes, Mother's Day feels incomplete and imprecise. The main thing that ever helped mothers was other people mothering them, including aunties and brothers, a chain of mothering that keeps the whole shebang afloat. I am the woman I grew to be, she writes, partly in spite of my mother, who unconsciously raised me to self-destruct, and partly because of the extraordinary love of her best friends, my own best friends' mothers, and from surrogates, many of whom were not women at all, but gay men. I've loved them my entire life, including my mom, even after their passing. No one is more sentimentalized in America than mothers on Mother's Day, but no one is more often blamed for the culture's bad people and behavior. You want to give me chocolate and flowers? Great, I love them both. I just don't want them out of guilt, and I don't want them if you're not going to give them to all the people who have helped mother children. But if you're going to include everyone, make mine something like M&Ms, and maybe flowers you picked yourself, even from my own garden. The cut stems wrapped in wet paper towels, then tinfoil in a wax paper bag from my kitchen drawers. I don't want something special. I want something beautifully plain. Like everything else, it can fill me only if it is ordinary and available to all. That lasting peace, that spirit of justice that we want to have ordinary and available to all. When we think of the visionary spirit of the forebears who created Mother's Day to end wars and make lasting peace, and we look at the statistics of our own consumerism and political machinations, while reproductive rights are being rolled back by a century, wars are rampant around the world, it feels very, very late. But as the poet reminds us, everything comes next. Let us remember our mothers for their beauty and strength and passions and flaws. Let us remember the quickening of the creative spirit in ourselves and all the many forms it takes. Let us remember the divine mother, the creative force that made all of our lives possible and keeps this planet's life-giving powers at play, no matter how much we do our worst. Let us fiercely defend and protect the power to see ourselves connected, to build peace, not by avoiding conflict, but by recognizing the holy thread woven through us all. May we hear and heed the call of the mothers rising up to demand an end to gun violence, for attention to climate change, for reproductive justice, and yes, for an end to war. May we join in solidarity to draw from the place in our brains where hate won't grow, and stay in the mess long enough to dream up the creative solutions that can save us all. May we know this community as a place where we hold the stories of struggle as a sacred part of what it is to be connected. And may that connection invite us to be moved by the fierceness of love to acts of kindness, compassion, and demands for justice in our world. So may it be. Amen.
We join now in our ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. In addition to sharing our sorrows and joys this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. We'll begin by singing There Is a Love. The words are printed in your order service and in the chat.
We join in sharing our burdens and our blessings, offering the prayers of our hearts to the care of this community. We hear and hold one another's yearnings and celebrations in the depths of our hearts.
A candle of sorrow from Sandy Dixon and Tracy Cruikshank. A candle of sorrow and healing for the Delquade family, the Winthrop School community, and the city of Melrose at the tragic death of 9-year-old Zechariah, who died when a tree branch fell on him while he was on the school playground. Candle of sorrow from Queen Cheryl. My mother passed away December 9, 2025, and today all I hear is the heavy-hearted voice in my head repeating, "It's Mother's Day, and I don't have a mother." I'd forgotten how grief rears its unseemly head. I was caught off guard, taken by surprise, and the fact is this: no matter what I say or what I write, no matter what I do, it's still Mother's Day, and I don't have a mother. Rest well, Ma, I love you. And a candle from Queen Cheryl, a candle of blessed memory for my grandma, Mrs. Ann Rose Siska. With the passing of my mother, I find myself missing you even more, Mama. You always had the right words, and I know if you were here, you'd help me sort through so many of these painful and conflicting feelings. Yes, I'm my mother's child, Mama, but you raised me, and I am who I am because of you. I hope you can see me, and I hope I've made you proud. Happy Mother's Day, Mama. I love you. Love your Cheryl. a mixed candle from Chet Woods. Chet could use some fingers being crossed today. From Harriet Randbig, a candle of gratitude for my son Keeler Ashish Randbig, who did very well with his rather intense vascular surgery and is recuperating at home. Candle of joy from Laura Pattison. Candle of joy for Judy Chambliss, my beloved co-chair of the Climate Crisis Committee, who shares her wisdom and good energy about all the work we do and hope to do. Thank you, Judy. And a final candle of joy from Darius. I am so glad to have such an amazing and supportive mom. I should mention Darius is Paris's son. So, the candle of joy from Darius is, I am so glad to have such an amazing, inspiring, and supportive mom. She is always helping people and making the world a better place. And I am so grateful to be able to look up to her.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. For those grieving mothers no longer with us, or mothers who never were what they needed, motherhood denied and motherhood cut short, we hold a special place in our hearts on this tender day. As we worry for the next generations and fret over senseless wars, may we root ourselves in the passion and power of protest, of mutual aid and solidarity. May we know when to call on the tenderness in our hearts and when to summon fierceness in our struggles. May the peace of this sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, for all nations, for all beings. Amen.
There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It's up to us. Generosity is a key spiritual practice here, and it shows. Thank you for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. This morning, our partner is the Mother's Day Walk for Peace, an annual 5K walk and fundraiser held in Dorchester to support mothers and families of murder victims. The walkers they are finished by now and are either here with us and also still on Town Field in Dorchester, enjoying food and fellowship and speeches being delivered there. Funds raised from the walk support families and homicide victims through the programs and services of the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute, including immediate and long-term care for survivors, youth, and multi-generational arts education programming, advocacy for survivor-centered policies, and re-entry support for formerly incarcerated people. Let's help them get to their goal of $600,000 for this year's walk. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to sustain our beloved Arlington Street and to the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. You can give online at arlingtonstreet.org or find instructions in the order of service for giving via QR code, Venmo, or text message. You can also mail a check to the church and use the envelopes in the pews, which can be given to the ushers as they come through momentarily with collection plates. Thank you for your generosity.
Have a voice, started out as a whisper, turned into a scream, made a beautiful noise, shoulder to shoulder marching in the street. When you're all alone, it's a quiet breeze, but when you band it together, it's a choir of thunder and rain. Now we have a choice, 'cause I have a voice.
I'm not living to die. Don't stand in a wasteland, look me in the eye. Stop living a lie and stand up next to me. You've gotta put one foot in front of the other, with a hand in a hand holding on to each other. Go on and rejoice, 'cause you have a voice.
It is loud, it is clear,
It's stronger than your fear. It's believing you belong. It's calling out the wrong. From the silence of my sisters to the violence of my brothers, we can rage against the river, feel the pain of another. I have a voice. I have a voice. Now let it speak for the ones who aren't yet really free. It's killing me. No one's saying what we need to hear. I will not let silence win when I see all the pain our people are in. There's no other choice, 'cause I have a voice.
it is loud, it is clear,
It's stronger than your fear. It's believing you belong. It's calling out the wrong. From the mouths of our mothers to the lips of our daughters, we can dream like our children speaking out across the waters. We can heal. Can you hear us? Can you hear us now?
I have a voice, started out as a whisper, turned into a scream, made a beautiful noise,
Shoulder to shoulder marching in the street.
When you're
All alone, it's a quiet breeze, but when you band together, it's a choir, thunder and rain.
now we have a choice, 'cause I have a voice.
Now we have a choice, 'cause I have a voice.
Now we have a choice,
'Cause I have a voice.
Thank you, Sam, Beck, Mark, David. We have a choice, we have a voice. We also have the great inspiration of the new movements for justice and peace that are rising up all around us these days, do we not? Have they not been fabulous at working on connecting people of all types to make sure that we're building solidarity across all kinds of lines that otherwise could divide us? So in the spirit of that celebration of this new wave of resistance, I invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit, and join in singing We Get There Together. Mark David's going to help us learn it.
This is another protest song of the moment. If you don't know it, I'll teach it to you. It goes like this. No one is getting left behind this time. Try that. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind. Like the beginning, sing with me. No one is getting left behind this time. And then this. We get there together or never get there at all. Try that. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. Try that from the beginning. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. We get there together or never get there at all. Want to step with me? No one is getting left behind this time. No one is getting left behind. No one is getting left behind this time. We get there together and never get there at all. We get there together and never get there at all. Amen.
Friends, for our benediction, I invite you to picture all of those who will not be left behind, and raise your hands, palms out, or zoomers on the sides of your squares touching one another, and send loving kindness out to all of those we want to scoop up and take with us to that land of peace and justice and possibility and freedom. And as you feel yourself also being held by others wanting to bring you along, I invite you to scoop all of that goodness, all of that love up and bring your hands to heart center and feel that love that you will carry with you through this week ahead. I invite you to go forth to nurture, to challenge, to make change, to find hope in one another, in our greatest joys and our deepest struggles. May we dig deep for a future that brings new life from the brink of death and forges lasting peace that makes us whole. Let us keep this faith, dear ones, until we meet again. Pass it on every time we can. The service begins when the service ends. Amen.
2, 3, 4.
Go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. Your divine, my divine.
We are located at the corner of Arlington and Boylston Streets, across from the Public Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.